Hey guys, it is Clark Sexton with Ruoff Home Mortgage, and we're continuing in our education series. Today we want to talk about, congratulations, you are clear to close. But sometimes it's like, okay, now what? So what we want to discuss is when we get to that point, which is exactly what we want, we are clear to close, which means we're ready to actually get to the closing table, and the days that follow until we actually get to the day of signing, which is the closing day. We're going to do another video that actually goes through that day because it's a little more involved. But today we want to focus on the time between you're clear to close and the actual closing day. So let's talk about it. So the first things first. When you're clear to close, that is fantastic news. That typically means that we don't need any additional documentation. Everything we've gone through, the underwriter says we're good and we're ready to close. So here's what happens behind the scenes. In many cases, you will receive what's called the initial closing disclosure at this point. In some instances, we're actually able to even send that out to you a little bit early. Now, what that is kind of the preliminary numbers before we send it over to the title company, what you're going to expect to need roughly at closing. Now, don't get married to these numbers because they can change based on the tax prorations, which we discussed in another video, and different slight items based on the actual physical day of closing. But it's going to be pretty close. So we will send that to you. It's very important that you acknowledge receipt, in many cases sign that document right when you get it, because there is what's called a 3-day wait period that we have to wait from the time that you sign that to the actual day of closing. So that's the first thing. Now, next after that, what's happening? Typically, there's nothing for you to do between then and when we actually give you a final number. So you can just take a deep breath, relax, know that you're in good hands. What's happening behind the scenes is this. We take that paperwork and we send it over to the title company. They work their numbers, they do calculate the prorations, they get all their fees in there, make sure they have everything right on their end, and then they send it back to us. At that point, we make sure we recheck the numbers, we make sure we balance. Once we balance on both sides, then we can issue what's called the final closing disclosure. That is the one that you'll actually see at the day of closing. I will actually send you a copy of that, as well as notify you exactly how much you will need at closing, because that's going to be your final number. So that's an important document to have. So that's basically what's happening behind the scenes. At that point, now we're ready to actually go to the day of closing. But once again, we're going to dedicate a video just for that. So if you have any questions about this time frame, from when we're clear to close, which is what we exactly want to hear, to the actual day of closing, do not hesitate to reach out. We've detailed it for you here, but if you have any additional questions about this or anything else related to the process, don't hesitate to ask. And always, guys, choose a great day.